It is
Well, you made a very, very interesting point, and I want to take that point to Yatish. There is 2 points. Number one, there is a perception that if you get a government job, there is no assessment, there is no HR audit, nobody is going to question you if your performance is not up to the mark. There is an absolute job security. Your salary is going to increase year after year, irrespective of your performance. And most importantly, as far as the public interface is concerned, you cannot be held accountable beyond the point. Secondly, Chief Minister made a very clear statement yesterday. He said that this attitude of government servant cannot be tolerated. So the head of the administration also admits that there is an attitude within the administration where public service is no longer considered as public service. It is merely looked upon as an employment opportunity and a salary month by month. How do you look at both these issues?
No, you see, Chief Minister made that statement because he wants a functional government. Chief Minister wants an administration which is sensitive, which is responsive to the people, and which is delivery oriented. So he has tried to put his views across so that the sanitization and the sensitivity is ingrained in the minds of the government servants that we are here to deliver and perform. So you have to look at it that way, because we want a good system to function. Now, as far as government jobs are concerned, that was your first question, right?
Yeah.
As far as the government jobs are concerned, again, I want to tell you that you just can't create government jobs. There is a perception, or what, I don't know what to call it, but suppose an X department decides to create jobs. The X department doesn't just go and with the stroke of a pen and the flourish of the purple decides to advertise so many vacancies. It doesn't happen that way. It goes at within the layers of the government. The scrutiny is done. There has to be financial approval for it. There has to be a legal vetting over the procedure.
But Yatish Babu, a simple question. Should there be a HR audit, as Nilesh mentioned, or a very frank assessment of whether we are overstaffed, considering the technology, e-governance initiatives that you mentioned that have been brought in, whether the level at which our government administration or bureaucracy was functioning, whether we are overstaffed at this point of time, or we need to audit how about our staffing pattern. Do you think that needs to be done right now, both from the HR and functional or operations point of view, as well as the economic or financial point of view?
See, as far as the mechanism is concerned to keep a check on the government servants, there are some mechanisms ingrained and embedded in the system. Like you have this of writing the CRs, confidential reports. The confidential reports of the government servants are written by the superiors in the department and above. So why is this? This is because you want the government servants to function better. You want them to function well. So there are systems. Now I can agree with you to the extent, and Professor Borde also, that to the extent that we have to improve the system. So you need to improve, and that is a continuous process. New ideas may be brought into, you may need better systems, you may need better steps in the system. But there are some systems in place which can be improved.
You are saying there are checks and balances that need to be vigorously implemented.
Can be made better. Can be made better.
Just to intervene, HR audit is not about trying to see how many people are functioning properly or not. That's not the objective. HR audit is basically just taking a number of people working in each department.
Whether overstaffed or
understaffed. Because there is I believe there is an imbalance. Let's take a very simple example, and I would want to take this message to Yatish Bab, who could probably take it to the government on behalf of everybody. For example, when you look at class 3 and class 4 recruitment, why should they be department wise? I think if the government can have how many people are there?
That was the purpose of staff service commission.
Correct. So if I could have one requirement done, I mean, can't the government department just coordinate with each other, figuring out how many are required? Then second thing is, can't it be transparent? For example, I set almost about 10 to 15 different question paper sets, so nobody knows what they are. And then they come randomly in a form of, say, a Google form kind of a thing. And as soon as the exam is over, like in case of GPSC, you are also aware about what your marks are. So, everything is put in transparent manner. So the first thing is, I think number one, we don't need, the process is a much later part. I very strongly believe in the next 5 years, the government should not be employing anybody. But because the government first needs to figure out where there is excess, those excess cases could be picked up from there, if required, trained in order to suit the other departments or other divisions, which is possible and it can easily happen.
Yeah.